Morning, everybody. It's the 21st of January. We're Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Ian Coleman and Steve O'Hare. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning,
Good
chaps.
morning.
Everybody all right?
Yeah.
All good. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, so we saw the back of Trump yesterday. He flew off into the sunset to...
yeah, it was all a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it?
Yeah. Some decent speeches, I think, from all the people involved, Biden and Harris. So we'll see what the next 4 years bring, I guess. Already he's signed the Paris climate change agreement, as he said he would. He said that would be his first act, which I think he's dealt with. High on the agenda now is, of course, this stimulus package, which everybody's hoping to get over the line. Expectations appear to be improving. There are some Republicans seemingly willing to work with the president to help push this plan through. He needs at least 10 Republican votes in Senate. So approval is far from guaranteed, but it looks like it will happen. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Anything else on the news that's caught your attention, guys?
No.
No, not
Not
really.
interesting.
The ECB today.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It was a year ago today that the word coronavirus was first mentioned on the Bloomberg website.
yeah,
Wow.
2 million deaths since.
Yes. And a global economic recession.
2 million deaths worldwide.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had the biggest number yesterday, didn't we, so far? Was it 1,800, something like that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Can't be blaming Christmas for that now, not the 21st, surely.
I don't know. I
Right.
guess there's, we've got to be pretty close to the peak, you'd have thought, wouldn't you, given that no one's moving around at the moment.
You'd hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think all these numbers are sort of like, a lot of them are delayed figures, aren't they? So we're probably seeing figures for a week ago or something.
Yes, quite possibly. I think actual cases peaked last week, did it? And it's on a sort of downward decline. And obviously the deaths lag that a little bit, so hopefully that will be on its way down to in the next few days or so. As you mentioned, Ian, ECB today, no interest rate change expected. Bloomberg intelligence analysts see potential downside risks to economic forecasts when President Christine Lagarde provides an update on the euro area at the press conference later today. What happened yesterday with the markets? Anything of interest on the charts caught your guys' attention?
On the indices front, it was quite interesting, quite a positive day overall. Looking at FTSE to start with, just like running from the top, I think we've got quite a nice formation setting up here, especially if we can get a little bit of more of a push higher. We've got this previous sort of swing high in between what could be almost like a double bottom. Could almost say it's a treble bottom, but I'd rather keep it as a double, and that level comes in at 67.71, which we closed above on the 4-hour chart at 2 o'clock this morning, but we've had a little bit of a setback into the European morning session, and we can see this has also happened in DAX, but not quite as aggressively, and CAC also forming a shooting star. So the Europeans have sort of had a little bit of a setback, but I still, if it can, we can regain this ground. It will also mean that we've got a buy signal on the Ichimoku cloud strategy with a crossover here, and once we get above the cloud resistance on the 4-hour chart, it opens up the upside. So room up there to push a lot higher, and obviously we've got to go back to this time last year to sort of like really say this is we're correct in this pattern. The 78.6 obviously we touched at this about sort of like 8-10 days ago on the 7th of Jan, and so I think we've had our little bit of a correction and potentially setting up for an additional move higher. On the US side of things, there's no stopping us. The Nasdaq, again, all-time highs in the Nasdaq. Obviously, we've got this weekly chart that we look to be back in the channel. So that's looking very positive, onwards and upwards for the tech sector. On the breaking above the 13,125, we're like 225, 230 points above that now. And obviously, we've sort of like been Nasdaq has been sort of under a bit of pressure, but since it broke from the November sort of like downward trending resistance, it's just had a steady climb, where other markets have been a little bit more aggressive in some instances. But you can see this, a very, very steep climb. Looks primed for a bit of a correction, but I don't think you get many people just selling it for the sake of it up here. I think a few people have tried that and failed. S&P obviously is continuing the grind higher as well. 38,600. We topped out at 3,867. That's an all-time high. Going to the commodity indices, we see the potential of the Aussie 200 again breaking up from this channel formation. The indecisive candle we had last week on the Nikkei is being negated as we speak, and we're looking at 28,993 as a bit of a target. So we're only, again, 250 points away from that. China, I think this was when I went on to head yesterday, and luckily I only had a small loss on it before it exploded higher. And this broke out of this hourly corrective channel lower, and it's looking very positive for China. China. On the 4-hour chart, we've had a really decent looking couple of candles, and this is above the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour chart. So looking prime for another push higher. Indices looking pretty good. How does this affect commodities, if at all? Well, like we've seen more recently, gold seems to be going with the indices. So it's got a bit of a tough resistance in the 4-hour shape of the cloud. And if we look back to previous support levels, now turned resistance, it's also testing those. So gold is looking a little bit more positive. Obviously, on the daily chart, we had this bullish hammer, which was formed by Sunday night's overnight session, when we saw the big spike down, big flush out of stops, and now people scrambling to get back along of the market. So on the daily picture for gold, it's positive. It closed above the daily Ichimoku cloud and looks primed to continue higher. So yeah, all looking pretty good, really.
Onwards and upwards.
Lovely. Okay, Ian, what's your take on FX at the moment? Is that
this is a copy of the letter that Trump left for Joe Biden, which had managed to.
Very good.
Yeah, great that, wasn't it?
Anyway, to get a copy of.
Managed to get bought a copy of that. Dollar index. All messy, isn't it? So that was the sort of rally up, then rally down, and then we've stopped at this fib level, and we're just pushing into it today. This is the Gartley formation down here, so this would indicate that we've still got a lot of room to move lower in the dollar index. But one thing that I'm sort of a little bit wary about is Joe's baskets, which show up a different story. Morning glory. If you go to here, got this confluence area here, so it's a little bit of a mixed picture on the dollar, but I think you're going to have to go run with the dollar index and expect, especially after this 1-hour candle this morning,
ugly, isn't it?
Yeah, expect a bit of a drive lower to this sort of level 89.50, and then if we go back to let's go back to this one. It's not quite as disgusting as that one. 89.60, 89.50. It's right shoulder of a bullish head and shoulders pattern as far as I see. So at the moment it's looking bearish, but I think to buy into dips on a long-term basis is probably the shout if you've got the patience to wait. And of course we've got ECB today, so it could go anywhere. With that in mind, I just left that on from yesterday just so that we could just see that from yesterday. Can you see that from yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. All right, take it off.
You traded. You did dollar CAD, didn't you?
I know, but I want both. I want credit for both.
Okay.
You
But
can't
anyway.
have credit for. Is he allowed credit for
Okay.
both, Joe?
I did
I
call
don't
that
know.
one
Hell no.
first. I did call that
I
one
know,
first.
but he's dipping his thing in your basket as well, which is
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, dollar losses should mean euro dollar strength, and we've got this garlic pattern here that we've been talking about. So normally dips down this BC leg to between 78.6 and 88.6, and then moves up to this 121.86 zone to form a bearish gartley, and then move to the downside. And I thought this was really interesting as well, because if we go to this time frame, it shows you how aggressive the move down was. Is this going to be a head and shoulders pattern? Because 121.75 is the top of that channel formation. So 75.86 is a sell zone, I believe, but with a caveat that it's ECB. Cable still put driving higher. Let's get rid of that. Inside this wedge formation, we really need to see a break of the wedge to confirm the downward move, and then 131.80 is a target area. If we look at shorter time frames, we're just breaking yesterday's high, so all those fibs now go out of the window. In fact, if we go to a short-term fib, I think you're going to get a 361.8% extension up there somewhere. So this is the sort of target area, not this, because it's broken the high. So I would expect, with that dollar weakness, a move up to 137.56 area. Dollar Swiss looks more aggressive to the downside. We've seen a very decent move lower this morning on the back of dollar losses. Going out, we're looking at this zone here, which is a previous swing high. It's a left. It coincides with a left shoulder. It's a left shoulder head, right shoulder, and it's also a 61.8% fib. So I think that's your prime long area. If you want to short, then I think you're counter trending down to here today. Dollar yen, we broke out of this triangle formation to the downside. I think a retest offers quite good sort of risk reward. I think to the downside, 102.50 is still a zone, or 102.50, 102.32 is a zone to be looking at. Dollar CAD, we talked about this yesterday. Let's get it onto the hourly chart. I don't see any reason for this to stop, especially with this dollar weakness this morning. So 121.15, 125.15, 125 the figure is the prime target area. Do take note here around about 125.85.75 because we've got a fib confluence zone there, but according to the basket, CAD has got a decent amount of strengthening to do yet. So I think this is the prime target level. Can't really get a handle on Aussie dollar. Can't get any confluence areas. They've got this trend of lower highs coming in around about 77.95, but I'll be wary about it actually holding. I think we might break higher and move up to these sort of levels, 78.32, especially if we continue to see risk on, which is looks like it's still there at the moment. I like this yesterday, and I had this yesterday on a personal account basis, but I've got been stopped out overnight. Had a 261.8% fib level here, and it's pushing lower. I can't see any value anywhere really in euro sterling at the moment. And I think that's me done, really.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Okay, so going to the head stuff from yesterday, picked our trades, and it was a reasonable day. We made a couple of R. I had a 0.35 return on dollar index, paying a very short-term bounce on that. It is, as Ian says, weaker today, so that closed out at 9 o'clock. Ian, you had a big win on, or biggish win on dollar CAD. That was 1.96. It was looking a bit better. There was quite a significant move to the downside off the back of the economic data coming out of Canada yesterday. And Steve, you were mildly offside on China A50, 0.17R as a loss. So overall, 2.15R returned yesterday.
Lovely.
And we're ticking up a little bit. So let's hope we can get a bit of follow through on a few bits and pieces today. Has anybody got a trade that they
ready.
fancy today?
Yeah, I don't really fancy any of them because they're counter trend, but I'll take this one. So just trying to play this right shoulder, but it's liable to be extremely choppy. 88.72 short of dollar Swiss, stop at 88.95, targeting 88.22, just over 2R.
Brilliant. Good luck with that. Steve, you got one ready?
Yeah, if I have to. If you're ready, you go. Yeah, you go. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the DAX. This is a 4-hour chart. Obviously, we've had a fairly substantial rally in recent weeks. This is the lows that we saw back in October. Obviously, a straight line move there, pretty much on the back of vaccines, and that's continued to grind higher in recent weeks. Looks to me, and I've said this probably countless times over the last few weeks or so, that there is potential for some of these indices to form a top. We've had a big, few events out the way, the inauguration, etc. Maybe optimism will start to have a bit of a reality check. Don't get me wrong, I'm bullish overall on indices in particular, and where we're going in the coming weeks and months. But I just feel there's got to be a bit of a pullback in some of these markets soon. So this is the DAX. As I said, I've got a bit of a head and shoulders formation taking place here. What really attracted me to this as an idea this morning was the candle that's been posted in the last hour. Steve mentioned it, these sort of big shooting stars or reversal candles that have formed here. So we've had a little bit of a look higher. We've reversed all of that and engulfed all the previous price action of the candle prior. So I think there is potential for a little bit of a pullback. Realistically, I'd be looking for a move down to the neckline at 13,675. If miraculously there is any sort of aggressive selling that kicks off on the back of this, then the measured move of this head and shoulders pattern is down here at 13,210. So I'm going to keep it open. You've got to be in it to win it. 9.5
ECB as well could happen.
Today. Maybe. More realistically, I think if it is going to work, we could see some action down here. Maybe 13,750 to 13,700. So that's my trade of the day anyway, selling DAX. That's
Lovely.
at 13, current price 13,966.
Good luck.
I didn't even give the levels here, did I? Stopped 14,042.
Just sell
Shows
it.
how much Ian was listening to you.
Yeah.
Sell it.
Not that I was
Steve,
listening to you. I didn't get it either.
did you get anything in that time?
No.
Okay.
So I'll pass.
Okay, get your magic coin out and flip it.
Yeah, I mean, the indices, as I say, yeah, the last hour we've had this slight reversal, but obviously we've talked about these before, and we sort of get sucked into them a little bit. They all look a bit toppy, so I don't really want to go the same way as you, Joe, because that's eggs in all the baskets, obviously. I tried to look for a little bit of a NASDAQ, dollar index, and that's the only thing I can really sort of feel good about selling. Not that I have to sell, it's just one of those things that
There's a gun to your head.
there's gun to my head. In the last hour, we've had a bearish outside hour. It's pretty similar to the indices. So I think if we do get a break of the low we've made between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock UK time, 90.23, then we could see this sort of like come down a little bit further. So I'm going to go, unfortunately, I think it's a poor one, but I'm going to go for selling dollar index 90.26. The stop can be 90.46. Give it a little bit of room. And looking for a target of 89. That's too much, obviously. 89.26, let's say. Be a bit greedy. 5-1. Wow, I like number 5.
And 13.
So getting short at 90.26. Quite a tight stop, 90.46, and looking for a move lower.
Cool.
90.
Good luck.
Let's hope one of us has a decent winner today. Okay, so on to the news. Ian mentioned we've got ECB rate decision at 12:45. Policy expected to be left unchanged. Following that, we've got US jobless claims at 1:30. Claims expected to rise to 750,000 for the previous week. And then at 3 p.m. we have Eurozone consumer confidence. The index expected to fall to -16. So quite heavy on the Euro front today. Keep an eye on your positions if you have exposure there. Anything else that you guys can add? Any companies reporting
Words of
today?
wisdom. IG are reporting.
They doubled their profits. Did you see that?
Is it this morning? Was it?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, the trading platforms have done pretty well over the last year, where there's a lot of people obviously working from home and trying trading for the first time.
Yeah, how's that going?
Well, if they listen to us, they may have done all right.
Not on Talking Ball, they wouldn't. The gun to the head stuff, they wouldn't have done.
Oh, overall?
Overall,
yeah.
Overall, right, yeah. And our intraday
okay.
analysis has been absolutely fine as well.
Yeah.
Flying. But
okay.
yeah, volatility has obviously dropped off. So, you know, if you're trading short term, that doesn't help you at all, does it? It just means you get chopped around. And, you know, clearly we've been feeling that as well on these intraday calls. Absolutely, you know, zero follow through on most of them. So that may change in the coming weeks.
I see that Ripple took a little jump to the upside. Biden has employed someone from Ripple.
Oh, wow.
So that had a bit of a jump up in the markets.
Crypto basket is down 5% today.
Yeah,
mad. It's mad. It's a mad thing. It's like 10%. It's like 10% a day.
Maybe we should be doing our gun to the head trades on that stuff.
Yeah.
Get some movement.
Yeah,
I mean,
not a bad shout.
Literally on Tuesday, the basket was at 9,500, and today it's at 8,500. So it's like 10%, isn't it?
Yeah.
In 2 days.
Okay, right, keep an eye on
and
that.
That was the afternoon in Tuesday, so it's a day and a half actually. That was at 4 o'clock on Tuesday.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we wrap it up there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Well,
Enjoy.
have a good day, everybody, and we'll be back tomorrow morning.
Lovely.
Cheers, then. Bye-bye.